What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to another episode of Finessing Your Formas. The next Holo Form features Fire Emblem Heroes OCs and this is gonna be a Forma purchasing guide. If you're interested in getting any of these units, then I'll be helping you decide what skills you should try to aim for on these units when buying them and what purpose those skills can serve, because it's extremely important to get bang for your buck when you are purchasing a Forma Soul. Forma Souls are not free, but leaving a like and subscribing if you do enjoy these kinds of videos is definitely free and I do appreciate a ton. So with that said, I hope you guys do enjoy and let us begin. Quickly, I want to go over the rules of the Forma Souls and the Forma units. So the Forma unit you purchase is always going to be having neutral IVs and you can change it with the trade fruit. Now keep in mind that Forma units will come with their base skills, so you don't really need to go after them. Instead, you should try to get some really expensive and premium skills which are going to be super hard to get for you otherwise. So always try to get the rare weapons and rare skills, and keep in mind that Forma units cannot be merged into other units. However, the existing other units can be merged into a Forma unit. Again, try to go for very premium and very rare skills. Do not try to go for skills which you can easily inherit from 3-star, 4-star units, which are available as your manuals or in your barracks. So only go for the rare stuff. And for assist skills, it is just very good to go for Dual Rally Plus skills or Harsh Command as they are premium. For specials, always try to go for Ruptured Sky and Blue Flame because they are pretty rare. And Forma units are always going to be unmerged when you purchase them, so do not expect buying a plus 10 Forma unit because that's just not going to be happening. And also don't think of buying a Forma unit just to fodder them off, because it's physically impossible to fodder them off for their premium skills that you might have gotten. Now it's really important to keep in mind that not every recent skill is going to be available in the Holo Forms. The skills that are going to be available in Holo Forms are going to be decided by the banner badge of the units of their last Grail unit which was added into the Grail shop. So for this Holo Forms, we're going to be having skills up to the Princess of Burn banner because Gaul was the last Grail unit added into the Grail shop. So just keep that in mind. You're not going to be able to get Attack Res Unity or like Odd Recovery or anything like that. And let us begin with the first unit we have, who is going to be the most popular pick for many people. It is going to be Bridal Fjorm. She has aged incredibly well. I have used her extensively ever since she was released, and I can say that she is a very good support unit. So her main job is to isolate units, and that can be helpful in shutting down dancers, rally traps, restore traps, now even return and rescue traps. So Bridal Fjorm provides you with immense value even as a one-off copy unit. In the light season, we do have Mila for the isolation, but in Astra season, we do not really have any mythic who can do that. So Bridal Fjorm finds her place in the Astra season, and she's incredibly good there. And it's now even better for her because it's easier to run triple mythic setups or even quad mythic setups, because Regan does allow you to have an extra unit in your team. So that can allow her to have another mythic boost from an ally which can boost up her HP, and that can just increase the support that she could provide. So if you're someone who really cares about ether raids, shutting down those annoying dancers, rally traps and stuff like that, then even one-off copy of Bridal Fjorm is going to be providing you with a lot of value. So overall, Bridal Fjorm is a very good support unit in my opinion, and she's really unique because we just have 2 isolation units in the entire game. So for her builds, you want to go with a staff that is rare and is seasonal. So Grand Scratcher pretty much fits that criteria, and Grand Scratcher also can be pretty helpful even if you're not using her in Ether Raid's offense, just in like PvE content. And you could run Rescue. Again, Return is not going to be available from Sarah, so do not expect to get that. For her assist, go for a bomb skill, and for slot A, attack speed push 4 is by far the best skill that you could go for. It's an amazing offensive option for any kind of healer. Now because of the fact that Bridal Fjorm has really high HP, you could also utilize Sudden Panic. So Sudden Panic is basically going to be the best slot B skill that you could go for. And for slots, it really depends on what kind of support skill you're going for. Attack speed rain could be pretty helpful. Otherwise, Joint Drive speed and Joint Drive attack are just universally very useful skills. So for the staff, go for Grand Scratcher Plus as a first priority, but otherwise, What You Want Plus can also really help you. It is something that could help you even in the Rooker Sieges if you already don't have a Melancholy or What You Want user. So there it does have that value. Flash Plus also has value because it is logged to a 5-star unit. So try to go for these kinds of staff, and skills basically, it's pretty straightforward. She doesn't have too many crazy options, and do not try to lose too much sleep if you don't get these options on her, because in my personal opinion, she can work even as a budget unit. If you just get one-off copy of her, you're gonna be HP stacking on her with double HP plus 5, and rescue is pretty good for the movement, but I swear by Martyr Plus. The reason being is that in the Astra season, you're gonna be facing Dumas. Duma has got upheaval, and if you're someone like me who doesn't run a healing tower as an offensive structure, then that is gonna come to bite you if the opponent has like an optimized Sylvia or Ninian with very high HP. You're not gonna be able to isolate them the next turn once you've taken damage from Duma's upheaval, and that could be really annoying. So Martyr Plus basically helps you heal up Fjorm as well when she's healing up the other allies. So it pretty much frees up a slot where you would have tried to run Live to Serve or something similar. So I really like Martyr Plus. Honestly, a bomb skill is good, so you could get that. Dazzling Staff is also pretty amazing. Even though Sudden Panic can give you that support, I swear by Dazzling Staff again, because over the years of using her, there are many instances where I would have lost a match if it wasn't for her Dazzling Staff and her safe pressure. So that allowed me to win many matchups. So Dazzling Staff is really good in those times of pinch. So I would recommend to have it instead, and most of the good Ether Raid's defense teams do not run any kind of visible buffs to begin with, and Sudden Panic doesn't really do anything for you. Joint Drive speed is actually really good, so you could get that. So as you could see, we are just using like 2 options out of the premium skills that we bought on this Bridal Fjorm, so she could work with just those 2. So she's a pretty cheap unit to build, honestly, and you're mainly going to be getting her as a one-off copy, because pulling on her banner is going to be taking a lot of orbs and trying to get lucky, of course. The next unit we have is Laegjarn. So Laegjarn is a sword flyer, and her weapon is decent at best. Honestly, she is up for a weapon refine because she's a Gen 2 unit, so hopefully she could get it soon. Similar to how Oliver got his weapon refine after his Hall of Forms run, so maybe something like that could happen to Laegjarn. I'm not really too sure, so you definitely want to have some premium skills on her because she just needs a full revamp on her base kit. None of those skills are really going to be that good. So on Laegjarn, you can go with Ninja Katana, which can help you quad attack. It is going to be available, and you have to choose which route you have to go with Laegjarn. Either you want to go the offensive route, the mixed route, or the enemy phase route. On the offensive route, go with Dive Bomb. It's a really good skill. And for Slaughter, you could go with something like Swiss Sparrow 3. Speed Defense Rain is basically the best Lotsy option that you could go for her on her, so make sure to get that if you can. And for other weapon options, Bellringer Plus is also a pretty nice self-healing option, and you could have Mystic Boost as well if you're not really trying to get Dive Bomb. So it could help you just get some health, and also it synergizes well with a push skill if you get that. Otherwise, in my opinion, the Wyvern Flight build is really unique, and you could try to go that route because Fury 4 is going to be helping you with that. And just overall, Wyvern Flight is such a cool skill. It is finally available in the Hall of Forms, and Laegjarn is one of those units who can definitely make use of this, so that's always going to be an option. And whenever we get Phantom Defense, the value of Wyvern Flight is going to be increased. So if that's something interesting to you, then you could go for a mixed Laegjarn with Wyvern Flight. You could go with enemy phase Laegjarn by having Distant Foil and Guard Bearing. Guard Bearing is one of the slot B options that is available for Laegjarn. Attack speed rain for a defensive build makes a bit more sense because of the attack debuff, so you could go for that. You could also go with Distant Counter over Distant Foil because Guard Bearing does provide you with that damage reduction, so she could take on mages a bit better than you think thanks to that damage reduction. And Attack Defense Unity is also a pretty good option on a tanky build. Pledge Blade is also an option that you could go for her weapon until she gets a weapon refine, so those are just going to be her options. The next unit we have is Spring Veronica. So she's a green mage flyer. It gives her +3 speed, and at start of combat, if she's above 75% health, then she gets +4 to all of her stats. So the threshold is so awkward, and it has anti-synergy with stuff like Desperation, Fury, and all of those skills. So Spring Veronica is just stuck in a really weird limbo where she doesn't really get too much out of this preferred weapon, and there are better inheritable options. Mainly Madness Flask Plus. So Madness Flask does have Fury built into it. It doesn't have any kind of stupid threshold. It does give you +3 to all of your stats. It also gives you the self recoil, which can actually help you get into the range of Desperation, which is really good for a frail unit like her. So that just works out for you, and you could go with Swiss Sparrow 3 as her slot skill, or even attack speed push 4. For slot B, Mage Flash don't have too many options. At the end of the day, you're probably going to be running Desperation on her. So if you want to go for something premium, you could go with Aerobatics or Mystic Boost. And for slot C, again, a rain skill is going to be ideal. Speed Res Rain is going to be pretty amazing, but if that's not available, then Attack Speed Rain is the next best option. You could even go with Fury 4 because you basically have better bulk with Madness Flask and Fury 4, and Mystic Boost can help offset the recall damage basically of the weapon. And Madness Flask is basically the better weapon here than her preferred weapon. So I would really suggest you go for this, and Mystic Boost just makes a lot of sense if you're trying to use Madness Flask and not run Desperation. And finally, if you want to use her in Aether Raid's defense as a rally trap unit, then I guess you could go with Ground Orders. If you don't have Ground Orders available on any other unit and you're really thinking of using that skill, so you could go with that, an impact skill and a rally up skill, so that could help you, but pretty niche build basically for a specific game mode. The final unit we have is Ylgr. So she's an infantry blue dagger, and her preferred weapon is also again not really that good. There are not many good preferred weapons from like old units basically. Fjorm is the only one who still really loves her preferred weapon. So Ylgr's weapon gives her +3 speed, and if she's got one more speed point than the enemy, it gives her +4 attack and speed and the standard defense and resistance debuff. Her base kit also needs a lot of revamp, and she actually has some really cool options available. So Courtly Fan is such a good option for a dagger because it gives her the extra attack and speed just like a preferred weapon, but she doesn't really have to meet a speed check. It's gonna be available in the player phase right off the bat, and it has half of null follow-up, which allows you to double even if you're running Wind Sweep or Water Sweep. So this can basically have her have a pseudo fire sweep effect, which is really amazing. So I would highly recommend this first build if you're thinking of using some kind of good Ylgr build out of this Hall of Forms. Go with attack speed push 4, Wind Sweep. Even though Wind Sweep is available on Joshua, you still have to spend like Grails and then 20,000 feathers upgrading him. So you could save those resources if you just go with Wind Sweep on slot B. And you could go with Time Pulse. It's a really good skill with a 2-turn special like Ruptured Sky. And you could even go with Dragon Slasher if you just want to use her as a dragon check for something like Arena Assault. With her high speed, she could make use of null follow-up, and so Sparrow 3 is also a pretty good player phase option. And Pegasus Carrot is a niche option, and it's only really good on units who have colored daggers, and Ylgr happens to be one of them. So Pegasus Carrot does have the effective damage against armors, and it also provides you with like a half null follow-up only if you have got the weapon strangle advantage against the foe. So only against red units she's going to be able to double while still having Wind Sweep effect, which is definitely a bit worse than Courtly Fan in my personal opinion. Courtly Fan, I just prefer that more, but still Pegasus Carrot I guess could be an option if you're thinking of slaying armors. Against most of the armors you're going to be faster, so true damage from Flashing Blade 4 could be something that you could utilize. Starfish Plus is also a pretty good dagger, giving you the Desperation effect, and that frees up your slot B skill, so you could run like null follow-up or lull speed defense, and that could really help. Again, Time Pulse is going to be a fantastic slot C option, and if you cannot get that, then Joint Drive Speed is basically going to be the next best one. For slot, just go with some offensive options like Attack Speed Push 4 or even Fury 4 if you're trying to have a bit better bulk. And the final build is for the people who really want to try out Broadleaf Fan. So only 2 times we have got a dagger unit in Hall of Forms. The first time was Winter Cecilia, and the second time is Ylgr. So Broadleaf Fan is an insanely good weapon. You've probably seen my Broadleaf Soth in my Aether Raids videos. It's really amazing for Vantage Sweeping, so if you want to have a taste of that, you could perhaps go with Broadleaf Fan build for Vantage Sweeping. So you could go with that, even though Ylgr's blue color can be a hindrance in many scenarios. Being colorless is definitely much better, but if you're really, trying to get Broadleaf Fan and get experience of that weapon and its Vantage Sweeping, then hey, this could be an option for you. Out of these 4 units, Fjorm is by far the most meta-defining unit because of her isolation, so expect to see way more Fjorms in Aether Raids Astra season for her isolation effect. And I guess we have successfully finished one entire cycle of Hall of Forms, so I think we're going to be going back to Echoes, which is going to be pretty interesting if that's going to be happening. So I'm really looking forward to next month's Hall of Forms. Let me know what your expectations are about that. And I hope you all enjoyed this video. I want to thank all of my YouTube members for their constant support, and if you enjoyed, then please be sure to leave a like and a comment, helps me tremendously, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as your Miraculous after she gets hit by the isolation. So that's it, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.